Wilbon looking clean with the turtleneck. All right, can you be the reigning Super Bowl MVP, a former league MVP, the best player in your sport who is also the highest paid, and still be overlooked in the current MVP race? That seems to be the case for Patrick Mahomes. Call it the Jordan effect. Everyone knew Michael Jordan was the best player year in and year out, yet future Hall of Famers like Charles Barkley and Karl Malone took MVP honors during MJ's reign. And speaking of dominance, I know it's the Jets, but Mahomes this weekend made a 5-touchdown, 400-yard performance look way too easy.
Anytime you're honored in a league like this with those Player of the Week, I mean, there's a lot of guys that had great weeks this week, and so that's special to me, and it's something that you have to really just you still take that same honor from the beginning to the end of your career, because you know that they don't come all the time, and you have to really go out there and earn it every single week.
He's still not the favorite to win the MVP. Mahomes currently the second best odds to win the Most Valuable Player award, and consider he has a better QBR through 8 games this year than he did when he won the award 2 years ago. Not a surprise. The other 5 players on this list are all quarterbacks when you consider 12 of the previous 13 winners played that position. You see Russ at the top. Here's Bill Barnwell on the current MVP race.
As we approach the midway point of the NFL season, the MVP race comes down to 3 quarterbacks.
There's Mahomes, gets some pressure, man in his face. He's got Hardman wide open. Touchdown, Chiefs.
We almost take Patrick Mahomes' greatness for granted, but the Chiefs' star continues to evolve and improve. Kansas City hasn't hit as many big plays this year as they did during Mahomes' MVP season in 2018, but the 25-year-old Mahomes has turned the ball over just once all season and posted a touchdown-to-interception ratio of 21-1, which makes him the first player in NFL history with at least 20 passing touchdowns and 1 or fewer interceptions in his first 8 games of the season. Andy Reid won't mind trading some of the spectacular for ruthless efficiency, with the Chiefs now at 7-1. Aaron Rodgers appears to have found the fountain of youth.
Rodgers bombs it down the right sideline. Touchdown! Another explosive play for Green Bay.
The 36-year-old won the MVP in 2011 and 2014. This season, Rodgers is posting his best completion percentage, yards per attempt, touchdown rate, and QBR since that second MVP award. Rodgers has dominated the league despite going without his 3 top wide receivers for parts of the first half. Rodgers' receivers have posted the highest drop rate in football for any quarterback. They've been the only ones capable of stopping the future Hall of Famer in 2020. My pick for MVP at the end of the first half, though, is Russell Wilson.
Russell, 4th down and 5. He's going to lay it up over the top. He's got it! Touchdown! Seahawks on 4th down and 5.
Nobody has made more big plays than Wilson, whose Seahawks lead the league in points per game, passing touchdowns, and win probability added on offense. Wilson has the lowest rate of off-target percentage passes and the highest adjusted completion percentage in the league. No team has been more deadly in the red zone than the Seahawks, where Wilson's thrown 18 touchdown passes. Despite making it to 6 Pro Bowls, Wilson's never received a single MVP vote. If his performance keeps up in the second half, that's going to change.
More NFL to come, answering the top quarterback questions in Week 9, featuring the keys for Kyler versus Tua, and why reigning MVP Lamar Jackson is struggling in the first.
Stop smiling. Coach Bruce Arians joked that while the rest of the team treated it as a walkthrough, Brown was going full speed. That's how much he's missed football.
I just been spending a lot of time with family, working on myself within, and just staying resilient, keeping the mind on the mission. That's being a football player and doing all the things that come with that. Even when the times got hard, keeping myself in shape, keeping myself motivated from within, not listening to the naysayers or not giving doubt or worries about will I be able to return.
Arians said Brown could play anywhere from 10 to 35 snaps Sunday against the Saints. He played 24 in his Patriots debut last year. Some of that will be impacted by Chris Godwin's availability, as Godwin is recovering from surgery to repair a broken finger. But Brown is eager to embrace whatever role they have for him.
I think he's just moving forward and trying to have a positive attitude and taking every bit of care of this opportunity given to him.
I asked Brown what he would say to those who question whether he deserves another opportunity in the NFL, and he said, hopefully I can change their perspective. Hopefully I can win them over in my actions and how I move forward and how I handle my business. In Tampa, Jenna Lane, ESPN.
Big game in Indy as the 5-2 Colts host the 5-2 Ravens, despite Baltimore missing 8 players to the reserve COVID-19 list. It all began when All-Pro cornerback Marlon Humphrey tested positive for coronavirus. So 7 others are now considered high-risk close contacts, but Harbaugh says it's practice as usual, and he expects those 7 to be available starting Saturday. Either way, Lamar Jackson knows that he has got to improve.
I get over it, but it's going to always be in my mind just because we lost that game, and I hate having turnovers. But you got to move on. Just like during the game, if I had a turnover, I'd keep it going, score the next drive. So I can't dwell on it. You got to move forward, and that's what we're doing now. The game is over with. I'm mad about the result, but listen again.
Yeah, the one thing that was quiet yesterday, the NFL trade deadline. It came and it went. The Patriots were not sellers, although teams were asking about cornerback Stephon Gilmore, best player on the team. Reportedly, the asking price was too high, and Bill Belichick was asked about that today.
Were there offers made to you guys that you just didn't feel like were good values for you, or was there just sort of a lack of talk, maybe even?
Yeah, Phil, I appreciate the question. So whatever conversations we have with other teams, we'll keep those private between us and the teams.
There was also a report that you guys at least entertained offers for Stephon Gilmore. Is there any truth to that?
Yeah, not that I'm aware of.
We are looking forward to Tua versus Kyler on Sunday. The Dolphins and the Arizona Cardinals. Let's go back to the 2018 Orange Bowl with Tua and Kyler facing off. Number 1, Alabama. Number 4, Oklahoma at the time. First quarter, Bama's up 7-0. This is 3rd and 6, and Tua finds Henry Ruggs the third in the end zone. That makes it 14-0. Let's go early second quarter. They're up 21-0. Another third down. This time he finds Josh Jacobs, and he is off to the races for 27 yards, fighting to get in that end zone. Alabama up 28-0 against what was not the greatest Sooners defense, as you can tell from the score, but they were trying to come back 31-13. This is Kyler, the bomb to Charleston Rambo for the 49-yard strike. So they cut the lead to 11. 2nd and 1 here in the 4th. Tua finding Devontae Smith from 10 yards out. So Alabama backed up by 18 points. Kyler Murray wasn't done. Tries to answer on the very next possession. Remember, he won the Heisman that season, and he finds CeeDee Lamb in the end zone. These young men who are making a difference in the NFL now. And then Tua again to Jerry Jeudy, a 13-yard touchdown and the dagger. They embrace after. Kyler Murray, 19-37, 308 with 2 touchdowns. Tua, 24-27, 318 as they won the Orange Bowl. And they meet again Sunday.
Tua's, the times that I've been around him, nothing, I can't say anything bad about Tua. Great dude, great player. So I don't know him too well, but, like I said, the times that we were around each other, it was nothing but, good times. I'm confident in us. I think if we go out there, execute, do what we do, we put ourselves in a good position to win the game.
I'm very excited to go up against him. I would say first impressions when I met him, he's pretty jacked up, but he's very competitive. But, we have full trust that whatever Chan calls, we got to go out there and do good with it.
All right. Hello again, Marcus Spears. I really, really want to know what you are expecting to see from both quarterbacks on Sunday. So let's begin with Tua as he makes his 2nd career start. Tua, go.
Yeah, Sage, I want to see if they're going to increase his plate, right? We looked at the first game that he started. He really didn't have to do much. Miami scored in all 4 phases of the game. Now you get a defense last scene that took Russell Wilson 3 times the other way as far as interceptions. So I want to see the challenge from Tua in a situation where he may have to make some drives, some key drives at the end of half or some important throws throughout this game. And then on the opposite side, obviously Kyler Murray. And we saw Miami's defense blitz Jared Goff seemingly every play. Now you get Kyler Murray. Don't miss, because he will go 80. And now DeAndre Hopkins and Larry Fitzgerald and Christian Kirk. This team is explosive. We know how dynamic they are from an offensive standpoint. Cliff Kingsbury also has a week of tape of Flores and the way he deployed against the Los Angeles Rams from the defensive side of the ball. But Kyler Murray is a different animal, and you have to be very cautious. In the same vein as Lamar Jackson, when you plan on blitzing and sending a bunch of guys at him.
Who knew Dolphins and Cardinals would be such an intriguing matchup in Week 9? But here we are. Can't wait for that. For sure, Ravens and Colts. Both teams are 5-2 the games in Indy. How about Lamar Jackson? Because he had a 6-1 record with an 81 total QBR last regular season. That's against teams above 500. This season, Marcus, 0-3 with a 25 total QBR. Since then, that's including the playoffs. So what do you think, Marcus? 2019 MVP. Why is he struggling this season against good teams?
One Sage, he lost Marshall Yonder, and now with Ronnie Stanley. But we saw them run the ball successfully. Listen, I'm one of these people in media when it comes to Lamar Jackson. I think he lifts his team better than anyone when it comes to as far dynamic playmaking. But Lamar Jackson doesn't have enough around him. There's not enough creativity in this passing game. I thought they should be in the trade hunt to get a receiver, someone on the outside. I like Mark Andrews. I like Hollywood Brown. But they need a significant guy on the outside to give Lamar another option. Everything they do offensively is compact. If you look at the Baltimore Ravens play, it's running the football and it's throwing in the middle of the field, trying to get Mark Andrews the ball or short slants and things like that. They signed Dez Bryant, obviously. See what kind of form he can be in. They need to get him more help.
Yeah, they need to get Dez Bryant in shape, and who knows? This game is in Indy. Colts are 3-0 this season. The Ravens, though, they're 3-0 on the road, so something's got to give. Marcus Spears, as always, thank you.
Look at this shot. Oh, golf.
Finally.
In November. We're 8 days away from the Masters as the PGA Tour heads to Houston. Dustin Johnson making his first start since testing positive for COVID-19 last month. Since the PGA Championship began, he leads all players on tour in scoring average. Adam Scott is also making his return after a positive test. Speaking of the Masters, the 2013 champ has just one top 10 finish at Augusta National since. And for the first time since the start of the pandemic, a domestic tour event will allow a limited number of fans on the course. About 2,000 per day are expected with social distancing protocols required. Stefano Fusaro joining us now as he joins us live from Memorial Park Golf Course in Houston. Stefano, how are the players reacting to having fans back on the course this week?
Well, to put it simply, Kevin, there's excitement from some of the top players on tour to really get back that atmosphere that the fans create. Now, of course, there is the question of players risking infection exposure in a situation with fans on the course. Number one player in the world, Dustin Johnson, spoke today about how unpleasant his 11-day hotel room quarantine was after contracting the virus. And that's not what anybody here in the field wants, especially with the Masters just a week away. Still, players are anxious to be able to feed off of the energy of the crowds once again.